Well, signing a contract for a home yet to be built can be risky. For Thomas, he was okay about it because construction was already underway. But his home is among dozens sitting half built on prime city land, and the delays link all the way back to the Chinese government.
The developer's holding all the cards. There's nothing we can do.
We're being basically held hostage.
We don't even know when it's going to be built or if it's going to be built.
This is Australia. We shouldn't be having to put up with this.
When the Chinese property giant Poly Global arrived in Australia, it looked like a high-class developer.
Ascot Aurora by Poly.
But now two large developments in two of our biggest cities lie dormant in the middle of a housing crisis, with hundreds of buyers' deposits locked up. How do you think Poly Global have treated you guys?
I think the developers treated us like pests, like a nuisance.
Thomas McCarthy could see the construction already underway on this prime 6-hectare parcel of land in the inner city Brisbane suburb of Ascot, giving him the confidence to sign a contract more than 2 years ago with an $88,000 deposit.
That's what reassured us, we thought, okay, well, the build's actually started, I think stage ones were wrapping up and, we could see it was in full swing.
But instead of wrapping up stage one, not a single home has been completed out of the 245 townhouses and apartments sold. Answers around a new completion date are blown in the wind, just like the roof insulation.
To just have this amount of land in a development this big, in the heart of Brisbane, with one of the biggest developers around, go belly up like this, I think it's tragic.
The builder, GCB Constructions, went belly up after becoming involved in court proceedings with Poly Global over the $200 million development. Its majority shareholder is the Chinese government, and communication surrounding the construction difficulties has been limited, to say the least.
What level of communication did they have with you guys?
We've had nothing. We've had nothing for years.
This mother of two has a $110,000 deposit frozen. She doesn't want to reveal her name, fearing possible repercussions.
How were you feeling when you were just getting radio silence from the developer?
Well, I didn't know if my money was safe. I didn't know what to do. Housing prices were going up.
All of these buyers are in the same boat, hefty deposits held by the developer, which claims to have been trying to find a new builder for the past 2 years. 11 of the townhouses were 90% completed. Some of those are now home to pigeons as the elements take hold of unfinished properties.
When a builder knows you're in litigation with another builder, they don't want to touch it. And the remedial work that they have to do, especially to this stage here, they're going to have to be demolished.
All the mold's growing on the ceiling as well. Yeah, because the water's just seeping through because it's not quite sealed.
Their fear is the Chinese property behemoth can ride out the delays until a sunset clause kicks in, allowing resale of the properties at much higher prices.
Because I've had my money tied up in this, my hands are tied. Property prices are going up. I'm going to have to move out of the area now because I simply can't afford to live here.
It's basically left us all in limbo. It's set us back a number of years.
Habib Khan purchased at a different Poly Global development but is stuck in the same situation. Aurora Terraces in the Sydney suburb of Rouse Hill also lies dormant after the developer terminated the building contract a year ago.
Well, they're basically holding us financially hostage. I think it's a form of financial abuse. Acting in this way, it's very greedy.
It's an eyesore.
Neighbouring residents like Nicole Lakesis can't believe so many homes are just sitting empty amidst a housing crisis.
If it's to do with the Chinese government, for me, it's really horrifying. This is Australia. We shouldn't be having to put up with this.
All of this land is currently sitting in Chinese hands, with the developer's lawyers offering some buyers a refund of their deposit, but only if they forego 50% of the interest earned. It sounds quite un-Australian, but what is any level of Australian government doing about it?
For developments like this, You know, with developers of those origins and of this scale, you'd think the government would kind of have your back.
Blacktown City Council says it does not have any enforcement authority over an approved development once work has commenced on site, while the Queensland Housing Minister says these are private contractual matters, but she'd urged the developer to be clear and communicate with their customers.
The government needs to do something. They need to step in and say, you're either going to do something, give these people their money back, you know, and do the right thing, or you give them an update on to what's going on.
A spokesperson for Poly Global said in a statement they are deeply concerned about the cessation of construction and remain committed in finding a suitable builder to complete these projects before the sunset dates.
Just say if you want to wait it out, wait it out. If you don't, here's your money and here's the interest that we made on your money. Don't take more money from us. Be fair. We've been fair.
Exactly, and Poly Global says everything it does is consistent with the contract signed. But let's look at the broader issue. Sunset clauses are a disgrace and they're being abused. At a council and government level, everyone passes the buck, not their problem, and that's the problem.